Good afternoon and welcome to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of USC and Southern California. I'm Jaden Frank, and we're coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center.
And I'm Isabel Ramos-Assam. It's Wednesday, October 15th. On today's show, a state of emergency in California, Latinx Heritage Month comes to a close, and it's Sex Week at USC. All that and more from where we are. But first, today's headlines.
Drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela.
Conduct covert operations inside Venezuela. U.S. forces have conducted at least 5 strikes against boats off the Venezuelan coast that were suspected of carrying drugs. 27 people have died from these attacks so far. As this campaign continues, the Trump administration has made it clear that the ultimate goal is to oust Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolás Maduro.
Dozens of journalists decided to hand in their badges after the government imposed a new rule restricting press access to the Pentagon. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says that any journalist who attempted to report on Pentagon-related news without authorization would be vulnerable to expulsion. More than 30 major news outlets refused to agree to the policy, ending decades' worth of reporting at the world's largest military headquarters.
California labor unions requested for the ongoing layoffs during the government shutdown to be blocked in federal court. Today, Judge Susan Ilston blocked the Trump administration from continuing the layoffs. Ilston said that the administration failed to provide clear reasons for the layoffs and that they appeared politically motivated.
A USC grad student was accused of being a serial sexual predator. Stephen Wang had been charged with 8 counts of drug-facilitated sexual assault during his time at USC from 2021 to 2024. LAPD's deputy chief said that the department was tipped off by German officials, who alerted them of a similar case involving Wang in Europe. LAPD is currently looking for other victims.
The Victoria's Secret 2025 fashion show returns for a second time since its hiatus that ended last year. Some new faces gaining the iconic wings include WNBA star Angel Reese, who was the first professional athlete to walk the show. Familiar faces Anak Yai and Alex Consani will return alongside iconic supermodels Adriana Lima and Emily Ratajkowski. It's Sex Week at USC, a week of inclusive, sex-positive events that aim to spark open conversations about intimacy and wellness. ARN's Yuvia Chavez stopped by the sexploration tent to see how students are breaking taboos. Yuvia has the story.
McCarthy Quad turned into a sex-positive hangout as students explored resources on safe sex practices. Students wandered through an exploration tent filled with free condoms, pamphlets, spanky sticks, and even a cucumber or two for educational purposes. Diane Kim is one of the organizers. She chairs the Wellness Committee for the undergraduate student government. Kim says organizers wanted this year's Sex Week to feel open, inclusive, and fun.
You see it right now, a lot of women are here at this exploration tent, but not a lot of men. So we wanted to do an event targeting men and talking about their sexuality. So there's actually a panel that's directed towards that.
Intimacy coordinator and empowerment coach Erin Tillman joined comedian Helen Hong from NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on stage to answer anonymous questions about intimacy, consent, and relationships. KRSC campus therapist Sarah Randazzo was on hand as well.
A lot of us enter into college with not a lot of great information about sex and relationships. There's just a lot of taboo around sex. We're not usually talking about it. So I think it's crucial now to start to build a foundation around our wants, our needs, and how we can have safe and enjoyable sex and intimacy.
For the first time, the annual event also highlighted accessibility and intimacy. We talked to Rachel Miller, the co-executive director of the Student Assembly for Accessibility.
It means everything to have a safe space for people to ask questions and explore what it means to be intimate and have a disability.
Students there said that they appreciate the chance to learn and laugh about topics that don't usually come up in class. Ethan Siffler, a freshman in the Thornton Pop music program, stumbled across the sexploration tent with some of his friends.
I think it is still a little taboo, and I think it's a good thing to talk about it more.
Senior poli-sci major Megan Alverson stopped by to support her friends participating at the event. Alverson welcomed the easygoing atmosphere.
I think it's important that students are able to have safe sex.
Easygoing, non-judgmental is what Sex Week organizers had in mind. With free prizes like unicorn vibrators and mostly with open dialogue, they hope events like Sex Week make learning about intimacy something students can actually look forward to. For Annenberg Radio News, I'm Yuvia Chavez.
The LA County Board of Supervisors voted 4-1 yesterday to declare a state of emergency in response to ICE raids in Southern California. The idea is to provide support for families who have suffered financially as a result of the raids. Mallory Snyder has the story.
During Tuesday's Board of Supervisors meeting, Senior Assistant County Counsel Thomas Fognan explained what the Board of Supervisors can legally do by declaring a state of emergency.
It provides the county with certain legal immunities for emergency actions taken, and it permits the county to obtain vital supplies and equipment needed for the protection of life and property and the ability to require emergency services of county personnel.
One potential issue is that the decision could pit the county against the federal government, which has a stated goal of carrying out mass deportations. This could result in legal complications. Supervisor Holly Mitchell addressed this legal risk during the board meeting. However,
if we feel very strongly that these are immoral, unethical actions, and then that leaves an opportunity for the county to lean in and be willing to take the legal risk to provide real protections to our residents.
Not everyone who attended the Board of Supervisors meeting agreed with the idea. Landlords said they are worried about this leading to an eviction moratorium, similar to what occurred during the pandemic. Felicia Duke, a landlord in Long Beach, shared her concerns.
I rely on my ownership at a small apartment building in Long Beach to pay my bills. I oppose this eviction moratorium. It would be endless as it's up against legal federal immigration law. It would be devastating to be placed on the backs of small owners. It's kind of like a grandma-grandpa operation on mine in addition to the mom and pop. Your previous COVID eviction moratorium went on for many years. I had to stop renting. I couldn't afford the court battles.
Catherine Barger was the only county supervisor to vote against declaring a state of emergency to assist immigrant families. Helen Chavez, Barger's communications director, shared the supervisor's reasoning.
She believes that, yes, she wants to validate that there is a lot of community anxiety and fear, but however, an emergency proclamation, as you heard during the testimony, there's nothing new or spontaneous that will happen tomorrow. What she is in favor of is investing in programs that are community-centered.
Despite all of these concerns, the state of emergency declaration is now in place. Renters who have been financially impacted by ICE raids and need funds to cover rent will be able to apply through an online portal. It'll be launched within the next 2 months. For Annenberg Media, I'm Mallory Snyder.
Every day I'm shoveling.
Paleontologists, educators, and the public celebrated National Fossil Day today. Now in its 16th year, Fossil Day highlights the scientific and educational value of studying and preserving fossils for the future. Constanza Montemayor has the story.
In the garden of the Natural History Museum of LA, home to fossils as old as, well, fossils are, museum educator Tony Turner lights up when he says, "Fossils are the only way we can really understand this planet's past."
I think fossils are a real great testament of how flexible life has been over millions of years of evolution, how many times life has gone extinct and come back in a variety of ways, how it keeps changing as the planet keeps changing, and like it really does provide that connection. When I see, any of our fossils in the museum and I see the muscle scars on the bones of the Allosaurus, like, wow, this thing was once inside of animal that lived millions of years ago.
And yet, you can still, to this day, see traces of life inside these ancient animals.
One of my absolute favorite specimens here has to be the Platycarpus. It's a type of marine reptile, a mosasaur. It's so well preserved that you see evidence of organs and soft tissues. It's in its naturally formed location, like it's an articulated specimen.
On Fossil Day, today, museums, national parks, and classrooms across the country are hosting events, although the National Museum of Natural History and Park Service had to postpone theirs amidst closures from the government shutdown. Amaya Chisholm is a college student who was visiting the museum on her birthday. She says she finds the museum's fossils super huge and super interesting.
But just like to think about it was something as big as this tree walking around one day, and I think that's super cool, and shout out to all the archaeologists.
Chisholm adds that today feels particularly important amidst the spread of online misinformation.
Please, everyone, please keep going to museums. Please keep going to science centers, whether it be here or literally anywhere. Please keep these institutions alive. They are very important, and we definitely need them now more than ever.
USC students get free admission to the Natural History Museum, not only on Fossil Day, but every day. So in the future, go look at the past. For Annenberg Media, I'm Constanza Montemayor.
Healthcare workers at Kaiser Permanente went on strike today for better pay and working conditions. Our reporter Danielle Hughes visited the protest in Baldwin Park to see what went on and what workers are asking for.
Outside Kaiser Permanente's Baldwin Park Medical Center, dozens of nurses and healthcare workers lined the sidewalk, chanting, waving signs, and demanding change. It's day 2 of a 5-day strike as Kaiser workers demand better staffing, fair pay, and respect. Melissa Sierra, a registered nurse, says that without enough nursing assistants, nurses are forced to do it all, from the patient calls to medication, instead of focusing on critical care.
The 25 years that I have worked here, we have not done this. They have brought us to this point. We have a labor management partnership. They're not listening to our voices, so we had to do this. I think the last time any UNAC UHCP nurse has gone on strike was the 80s, so it's been 40 years.
Melissa Sierra says burnout has pushed many nurses to the brink, and this strike, the first in over 40 years for her union, is a message that they've had enough.
You know, I love taking care of my patients. I fell in love with nursing when my best friend got sick, and I was in high school, and I wanted to make a change, make a difference. And now in the role, 20 plus years later, I still know why I come to work, and I want to make a difference. I want to help you.
Nancy Aguirre McCoy says the issue isn't just about pay, it's about patient safety. She worries that when nurses are stretched thin, the people who suffer the most are the patients themselves.
We're frontline staff, and we are here making sure that our patients are happy, satisfied, and are safe.
In a statement, Kaiser Permanente said they're continuing to negotiate in good faith, and that hospitals will remain open during the strike. For these healthcare workers, the fight isn't just about contracts. It's about care, both the kind they give and the kind they need. For Annenberg Media, I'm Danielle Hughes.
Survivors of human trafficking could gain more solid protection against ICE if a new lawsuit holds. It was filed yesterday by the Center for Human Rights. Adam Young has the story.
The Center for Human Rights filed a class action lawsuit Tuesday against Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The lawsuit challenges 2 policies ICE has implemented that they allege is illegal. It alleges that ICE deports non-citizen survivors of human trafficking who are lawfully in the United States. It also claims ICE routinely deports trafficking survivors who have pending applications for visas that were created to protect from deportation. One of the plaintiff's attorneys, Erica Cervantes of the Center for Human Rights, told Annenberg Media that the lawsuit is an attempt to get back protections that are already in the letter of the law.
So essentially what this lawsuit is about is we're challenging a memo that came from ICE earlier this year that allowed the green light to essentially arrest, detain, and deport survivors, immigrant survivors of crime and trafficking.
On why the center decided to take the case to court, Cervantes said it was to challenge established ICE policies that they say target immigrant victims of trafficking and abuse.
It undoes what was promised to immigrant survivors, and that's been seeped into legislative history, and it undoes those decades of work.
In a press briefing today on the lawsuit, Cervantes expanded on the laws they say ICE is violating.
Decades ago, Congress created the U visa, the T visa, and the VAWA self-petition process based on the simple truth that we are all safer if victims and witnesses come forward and report crime and cooperate with the police without fear of deportation.
Cervantes recounted a story from one of her clients on how she was treated by ICE. Her client was 64 years old with arthritis.
Despite her telling ICE that she had arthritis, ICE didn't care. They still brutalized her during her arrest. And then after her arrest, she was sent to a detention center where she had no blankets, she had no pillows, and was forced to sleep on the cold floor. And despite her applying for a U visa, despite her going through the trauma of being a domestic violence survivor, and despite having the protections associated with that visa, she was deported to Mexico the very next day.
Sergio Perez, executive director of the Center for Human Rights, said the lawsuit was brought so that the federal government would respect rights that are already established.
We're not talking about creating new rights. We're calling on the federal government to respect the rights that were already established and have been established for years. We shouldn't have to waste resources and time on bringing forward such an obvious thing as merely respecting laws and policies that are already on the books.
The lawsuit demands ICE to stop deporting U and T visa petitioners, among other requests. This is a developing story. For Annenberg Media, I'm Adam Young.
In a time where it feels like the Latinx community in Los Angeles is under attack, it's important that we recognize and celebrate their strength.
Today, USC held their Latinx Heritage Month closing celebration, Noche de Cultura. They celebrated at Founders Park with the theme, Honoring Our History, Celebrating Our Strength.
Clubs and organizations gathered together to celebrate over food, music, and speakers. Lorelei Rohrbach has the story.
The Mariachi Los Troyanos de USC performed as attendees excitedly entered, some wearing Frida Kahlo-inspired flower crowns, others in SC t-shirts interlocked with the Mexican flag. Today marked the last day of Latinx Heritage Month. This year's theme, Honoring Our History, Celebrating Our Strength, was especially important to attendees as they gathered together over street tacos and walked the rows of Latinx student organizations. Morelia Cadenas, a senior at USC majoring in public relations and advertising, is also the co-executive director of the Undocumented Trojan Success Assembly, UTSA. She is grateful for how the event has brought the community together.
Specifically here at this event in Noche de Cultura, here to support Latinx Heritage Month, to be able to, again, just like reach the community, know that they are seen, that they're heard, and that they're supported here at USC, and to continue providing these resources to students more than anything so they are feeling prepared and ready.
The USC First Generation Student Assembly was one of the clubs present at the event. Their director of special events is Amora y la Luna, a junior majoring in law, history, and culture. She is a first-generation college student and of Mexican descent. Luna shares why the event means so much to her.
So in the Mexican community, that's a very big, vibrant immigrant community. So highlighting the work and effort of immigrants within this country while being at a higher education institution that is historically predominantly white. It's a challenging role to take on, but it's one that I take on with pride. But yeah, especially in Latin Heritage Month, as we close off Latin Heritage Month, it's very important to us to celebrate that history and to celebrate our impact as students here on campus.
According to the First Generation Success Center, nearly 20% of USC students are first generation. And USC has reported over 21% of their incoming class are also first generation. To Cadenas, the work continues even after Latinx Heritage Month ends, like organizing UTSA informational sessions on legal changes for programs like DACA that are very strict on eligibility for individuals to have access to temporary work status or authorization.
Here in LA, especially USC, we're at the heart of Los Angeles, and that means that not only the Trojan family reflects the different backgrounds that people bring and add to here, but also the importance of not only like seeing them and valuing them. And I think all of that starts from like recognizing the different pathways that people take to get into these spaces, as well as the hardships that come when you do try to enter them.
For more information on the next UTSA event, especially their upcoming event on October 28th, visit their Instagram at @UndocuTrojans. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lorelai Rohrbach.
And that's all we have time for on today's From Where We Are. Carl Masad and Susan Nirenda produced today's show. We had help from Dia Saru, Kaylee Bryant, Nari Whitaker, and Sophia Ketterer.
Our board operator is Rafael Postel. Our livestream manager is Kayla Shu. Our audio director is Leslie Bernstein Rojas. Sebastian Gruba and Sam Bittman are our technical supervisors, and Derek Grenfro composed our theme music.
Catch us live on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News, Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Subscribe to From Where We Are wherever you're listening right now. Finally, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Annenberg Radio. I'm Jaden Frank.
And I'm Isabel Ramos Assam. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for
From Where We Are.
Did you know that it's actually a myth that cracking your knuckles is bad for you?
I did know that. Should we celebrate? And crack our knuckles?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
That was really great.
That
Thank
was
you
great.
for that, Isabel.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.